Trigger 1 is Trump's trade war. Trump has always pitched himself as the ultimate deal maker. He's the guy who fights for American jobs and plays hardball with other countries, but the trade wars he's fighting could increase your weekly shopping bill and cause a recession. The last time the US tried this, it helped trigger the Great Depression, wiping out jobs and wrecking the economy. Now, history might be repeating itself. Stocks are already crashing, prices are rising, and if this spirals, it won't just hurt Wall Street, it'll hit you where it matters most, your bank account. Let me take you back to 1930. When I was just a boy, the US government decided to slap massive taxes called tariffs on imported goods to protect American businesses from foreign competition. It was called the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, and it turned out to be one of the worst economic mistakes in history. At first, it seemed like it would help. American companies wouldn't have to compete with cheap imports and more products would be made in the USA, but there was a big problem: other countries fought back. Nations that used to trade with the US started raising their own tariffs, making it harder for American businesses to sell products overseas. Trade slowed to an absolute crawl, businesses collapsed and millions lost their jobs. Instead of fixing the economy, it helped turn a regular recession into the Great Depression, one of the worst financial crises ever. Fast forward nearly a century, and Trump has brought back tariffs in a big way. In February 2025, Trump announced a 10% tariff on Canadian energy imports, and a 25% tariff on other Canadian goods. In retaliation, Canada imposed a 25% tariff on American imports. Then in March, Ontario implemented a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the US, affecting states like New York, Michigan, and Minnesota. However, in my opinion, this was more of a symbolic move that wouldn't have seriously damaged the US economy. However, Trump didn't hold back, and instead of just brushing it off, he fired back by increasing tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum to 50%. Unlike Canada's move, this wasn't just for show. It hit Canada's manufacturing industry hard, while also driving up steel prices for American businesses that rely on imports. But why am I telling you all this? Well, this is where the real problem starts. Tariffs sound good on paper, as they're meant to punish foreign businesses while encouraging more stuff to be made in America. But in reality, they end up hurting regular people more than anyone else. As a business owner who manufactures products and imports from China myself, I know that when businesses are forced to pay more for materials, they don't just absorb the cost, they pass it on to their customers. That means higher prices on cars, appliances, and electronics. In addition to this, food becomes more expensive because supply chains get disrupted, meaning that everyday essentials cost more, stretching household budgets even further. On top of that, other countries aren't just sitting around while Trump raises tariffs, they're forming new alliances to trade without the US. China is leading the charge with the BRICS alliance, partnering with Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa to reduce dependence on American trade. So the more the US isolates itself, the more other countries look elsewhere for business. So what's my opinion on all of this as an experienced investor? Well, if Trump goes all in on this trade war, history suggests it'll do more harm than good. While some industries might get a short-term boost, the long-term damage, such as higher prices, weaker global ties, and a slowing US economy, could far outweigh any benefits. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't think Trump actually wants high tariffs. I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. Trump is at his core a businessman and a deal maker, just like me. That's why I believe he's using tariffs as a negotiation tactic, not as an end goal. So if that's true, what does he actually want? But on terms that favor the US. And if he pulls that off, it could pay off big time. However, the problem is, his approach is creating massive uncertainty. The constant backtracking, new tariffs, and mixed signals are spooking the stock market because investors hate unpredictability. If this drags on too long, It could shake confidence so much that it pushes the economy towards recession. Something even Trump's own administration has admitted they're willing to risk. Right now, the market isn't just reacting to tariffs, it's reacting to uncertainty about what comes next. And in investing, uncertainty is one of the biggest killers of confidence.